I know a lot of people want to protect their home. They want to have visibility over what's going on outside their home when they're not home or when they're asleep. Security cameras are wonderful for that. So let's take a look at the brand new Uniden AppCam Solo Pro, available now. This is a crowded market, very crowded market. And I think what's going to happen here is a couple of things. Rising tide lifts all boats. So huge range of new products means a lot of people are getting them, which means a lot of people are talking about them, which means a lot of people end up buying them. But I do think you're going to end up with a place where big brands start to shine. There are some really cheap, affordable products coming in, and I'm sure they're great, but my concern is that you don't have the support, the backup, the warranty, and also just the general functionality of the apps. So which is where companies like Uniden, Arlo, Swan, and a bunch of name brands really start to lift this market and to be the draw card. And I think Uniden are doing an amazing job here of ensuring they're available and they're nailing every single price point. And I think this product here not just hits a price point, but it hits a simple feature set that appeals to so many people. So let's take a look. This is the single pack, $249 roundabouts, double pack, $449, and there is a quad pack as well, 4 cameras for $899. Those are the JB Hi-Fi prices I saw this morning before I hit record on this video. So obviously the twin pack is just 2 of these. It's really quite simple. So this is the box. It's very simple, and they actually say here on the box, you know, really simple DIY installation, and it is. It takes minutes. Now, let me explain to you the installation for starters. I think it's critical I show you these because it's both a positive and a slight negative, and I think it's important you see. They've got these really interesting mounts that they've developed, which have this kind of circular approach. So what you do is you unscrew them here, and this is the piece you then mount on your wall. So this is the piece you screw in. There it is. And then once that's screwed on the wall, then you simply screw on the mount. It's quite a solid mount. There's it's a metal in there, but that metal is for the magnetic attachment. But my only concern was I found this really simple and a great installation when I was mounting sideways on a fence. So my first installation was on a fence. But then I did one that was mounted under the eave of my home, and I found this to be a very difficult thing to not only put on and tighten, but because I was using this one, which is a separate style. So the difference here in these 2 styles is one of them is for magnetic. So you screw this into the back of the camera and it magnetically attaches, and then it's very easy to move around. The other one is your traditional tripod style. So I'm just going to unscrew it a bit. So once you unscrew it a bit, you've got the ability to move this around. The problem I had was once I had it, mounted upside down, I found it very hard to have the camera in place and tighten it in place. So it wasn't as easy as your traditional little camera tripod style attachment. I see what they've done with it, and it works really well on the magnetic, but it could be done better on this one. That said, that's a minor thing. You can get those mounts anywhere, and you can probably prioritize using the magnetic, because that also means that removing the camera, so I'll use this one here, you can mount it almost any angle, which is fantastic. But then removing the camera is as simple as that, which allows you to take it away and charge it. The charging port is in the back here. Very hard to see, but that's a standard kind of micro USB. Now you can also get, and that fits the solar panel, which I've had in my backyard. So this is actually from my backyard. It's been sitting there for 2 or 3 months, so it's weathered quite well as well, I must say. This had the solar panel plugged into it for that entire time, which is kind of what you want, because then you never need to touch the battery or anything. Underneath also is a power switch, which is great because actually, right now I want it turned off so it's not triggering all the time. But there's also an SD card slot in there, which is again another great point of difference that you need to have. You have a micro SD slot, which is recording the content it gets. The notifications go to your phone through the cloud, but the recordings are on the device, so you don't have to have a cloud subscription. There is a Uniden Cloud, which I'll show you here. So you've got your Uniden Cloud at the top here, and that allows you to view all of your recordings for a certain set of time. So it's like 5 to 7 days you get for free, and you can pay if you want more storage. But in my experience, you never really need more than 7 days storage on any cloud. Now, onto quality. I have multiple security cameras set up in the same locations at my house. So at the front, I have 3 pointing out. I have a Nest, an Arlo, and I had the Uniden for testing. I've also got a Ring there. And out the back, in the backyard, I had an Arlo and the Uniden. Now, first up, I want to be very clear. One of the things I noticed, and it might be written on here, the 120-degree wide viewing angle. That is wide, but let me show you my driveway here for a second. The wide 120-degree compared to the wide, I think 160 to 180 of the Arlo is vastly different, and it means that you pick up more with a wider viewing angle. Now, that might not matter, but all it means is, and this is not a reason not to buy it, it's important about your placement of the camera. So rather than placing it on the front of a place looking out, you might want to place it on the corner looking at the area that you're trying to protect or cover. It's all about camera placement with these things, and so take into account that viewing angle before you go screwing into the wall. What I do is I hold it, look at my phone, and then decide where it's going to go. Video quality was excellent. Very nice, vibrant colors, I thought, actually, over and above other brands. But the only thing I noticed was it's very not laggy, but there's a slow frame rate. So you see someone move like this. Now, in a general movement, it doesn't matter, and it really doesn't matter in terms of security. It's just an observation in terms of its quality in comparison to others. That's all it is. Do you need a higher frame rate on a security camera? Probably not. It's really about just capturing that moment. What happened? Who came? How did that thing happen? What caused it? Those are the kind of things you want to know. And so you're going to get that from the Uniden AppCam Solo Pro. IP65 rated, 1080p recording, several months, probably 2 to 3 months battery life if you're not hooked up to a solar panel. And it does have Uniden's ThermoSense on it, so it can articulate the difference between a human being movement or an animal, but thermo, something that has heat, rather than just a tree flapping in the wind. It's an excellent product at $249, great value. And remember, you can just get one. And that's, I think, what's critical about this new range of products that are coming in at that mid to low $200 price point. They're made to get started. They're made to be your entry into this whole market. Cameras are not something that you do lightly. You're thinking this is home security, it's defending my home, protecting my home. It's actually really easy to install, and you get a real sense of safety and security once you know that there's motion and movement. The other final thing I'd say about it is they could do a lot with the app. It's an excellent app, really easy to navigate, but I feel like the flow is sometimes not perfect, and I also feel like the notifications, there's no ability to say this is when it's armed or disarmed, this is when I'm home and when I'm not. You've got to manually go in and do that. I want notifications from my cameras. I want to be told when something's happening, but if you have notifications on here, you just get a lot of them. And so really I've used it more as a backup. It's there. If I need to know what happened, I just go to the cloud and I check the recordings. Great stuff. The Uniden AppCam Solo Pro, now available starting at $249 for the single camera, $449 for double, $899 for 4 cameras.